I don't need to. This isn't my video, so I don't have to like do the thing where like I can't be too harsh. I can be pretty harsh on this, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest trash fire since that Dragon Ball Fighters update that killed the game. At the absolute base level of any fighting game, I find when you're just smashing one, they're all kind of equal. And at the highest level, every fighting game has its own BS. That's
Yeah.
all hard. But the intermediate level, intermediate Tekken is a lot harder than intermediate Street Fighter.
Mhm.
That's the gap. That's the mountain to climb. Throw loops in the end devolves into a coin flip.
Sure.
You know, if I'm throw looping you or Daigo is throw looping you, you're still just flipping a coin, right? It doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
And if Tekken 8 is responsible for paying your rent, either on YouTube or on Twitch,
Good
you're
luck.
effing downtime right now. And Mai was just like Terry. Mai came out and I was like, oh, she's all right, I guess. And now that's evolved into Mai's the least fun character to fight in the whole game. But I heavily anticipate that there will be major system change, like new mechanics, maybe new moves. I don't know, but something new besides just here's the balance changes. I love all fighting games anyway, so it's not too much of an issue for me to cover all the fighting games. I'll just as happily talk about Fatal Fury today. We'll talk about Street Fighter tomorrow, 2XKO the next day. Fine, because I'll like all the games. But I do look at it from if you want to be a full-time content creator, if you do it for fun, whatever, do what works for you, right? But if you want to be full-time, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the FGC Cast, my new show where I interview some of the most prominent names in the fighting game community. In this episode, I chatted with Rooflemonger, one of the biggest fighting game YouTubers, who specializes in doing guides and his iconic news breakdowns. We got to talk about pretty much every major fighting game, along with how he got his start making content, where he thinks the fighting game community will go in the future, and he even gave some tips for people who are interested in doing content in the fighting game sphere. It was a great conversation, and I'm really glad I got the chance to talk to him. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more future episodes. And without further ado, Rooflemonger. It's been a rough week for the rough couple weeks, I guess, for the fighting game community. I'm sure you've heard all the stuff that's been going on right now.
I've been around for quite some time, and like I don't know, it's one of those things where like how bad actually is it versus like the perception of it.
Mm.
And like, well, on the Tekken front, it is actually that bad. But for every other game, it's more just annoyances, really. But yeah, overall perception of fighting games is not amazing at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a rough time. So you on your channel, you cover like all the fighting games, right? Like you do like sporadically on all the videos.
I do my best to cover just about everything. Yeah.
I'm so curious, like, do you have like a specific like game that you focus on normally, or like do you play all of them, or do you just like make content on some of them? How does that whole thing work?
I play pretty much everything. The one thing now that it is, my primary concern YouTube is I'm definitely not as good as I used to be because I have to switch games every week.
Mhm.
Can't just focus on one game. But yeah, I never really focus on any one thing. There's definitely just times where it's like more appropriate to focus on one game than another. Like say in about 2 weeks or whatever when Fatal Fury comes out. Like Fatal Fury will probably be the primary focus for a while, right? Because enough new game. If there's a new character, a new patch, that's usually when I kind of reshift focus to one game or another. And failing at anything like Street Fighter is always evergreen for me. Like I'm playing Street Fighter since 1991, so that always works.
So is Street Fighter like your favorite, like your main game that you play the most, or like if you had to
I don't
choose
even
like
know.
one to focus
Like if
on?
you just mean like, oh, that's the thing. If you make me choose, there's no choose. It's Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no choose. They both raised me. Like those are my parents. So I don't know. Like my most played game, like I always look at the modern era fighting games as Street Fighter 4 and up.
Right.
And my most played game from the modern era is either Street Fighter 4, Mortal Kombat X, or Dragon Ball Fighters. And
Okay.
like given say Street Fighter 6, we still got like 4 or 5 more years of that. So that could get there eventually, but not yet. Yeah. And MK1
I saw the other
which is the
day
best?
there was like more concurrent players playing 11 than 1. And I don't know anything about Mortal Kombat. I'm just like they really must hate that game.
It's it's a good game. It is a good it's like unlike some recent games where people are having issues, Mortal Kombat 1 just gets better and better and better, right? But it's such a culture shock from what the average Mortal Kombat player is used to
Sure.
with the assist the cameo based system. And it's one of those things where like I think it's always worthy to try something, but cameos won't return in the next game. Let's put it that way. Because it's
Sure.
just not a hit with the casual fan.
Which is kind of weird. You'd think it would be like when you say I mean, that's like the new system, right? Like it's a whole new system they added.
Yeah.
Huh. But so pro
It's
play
just
is
one of those
just
deals
dead
where, like,
though.
I
Like
think it's perfectly valid for a one-on-one to have assists game, but, like, uh, the public at large seems like, okay, if it's not a tag fighter, we don't want assists. That seemingly is how it goes.
sure.
And plus, Mortal Kombat is inherently cheaper than any fighting game just on a fair level, right?
Mhm.
And then you add, like, okay, here's my nonsense 50-50 mix, and then also you're in block stun, and if you guess correctly on my 50-50, you're in block stun, it's still my turn afterwards, and that's kinda inherently what the nature of the game is, right? So, like, you know,
It's interesting
this won't return
because
next game.
it's sometimes they go for like a big shakeup and like you hear a lot about the ones where it works, like they completely reinvent everything and it's amazing. But there's a lot of times where they try and like change the system and it just doesn't click. Doesn't click with the pro players, doesn't click with
History is
casuals.
replete of fighting games where they try to innovate the formula where perhaps innovation wasn't needed,
Hmm.
and it falls on its face. Like, you could argue Tekken 8 right now is
Yeah.
the modern version of that, but like there's so many examples of past, like say even one of the biggest flops I remember early on in our fighting games was Virtual Fighter 3.
Mm.
Because Virtual Fighter 3, they just like mess with the formula. Let's have all sorts of uneven stages with all sorts of gradients and all that. Like there's combos that only exist on slopes. And like it just like it's very telling they never went back to it, right? And Tekken in the earlier days wasn't as in charge of its own destiny. It was always kind of chasing the Virtual Fighter Dragon. So Tekken 4 also like, well, Virtual Fighter's doing uneven stages. Let's do uneven stages too. And then whoops, oh no, we're not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sometime it's always telling when there's ever the misstep of you try something new, you swing and you miss, then the next game's like, back to basics. And then it's a good game. Tekken 4, maybe not so much. Tekken 5, hey, we all love Tekken 5 around here, right? Like so, like to stand up, you got to fall down sometimes, right?
Yeah, I think it's tough for Mortal Kombat, especially because like Mortal Kombat's never like in the past couple. I want to just say modern Mortal Kombat doesn't have the greatest reputation, like even with 11 amongst the general fighting game community. And then yeah, they tried to do a big shakeup. I'm sure a lot of the developers thought like this could take off, like this could bring us back to like the peak of Mortal Kombat. And it just misses. It happens sometimes, I
It's one of those
guess.
things. Whatever the next Mortal Kombat is,
Mhm.
and who even knows if that's the next game because it could be Injustice 3 or whatever, right? I very heavily anticipate it to be more like Mortal Kombat X
Yeah.
because that's going to be the back to basics game. Because Mortal Kombat X, even though it's a complete BS game, like NRS players like BS games, right? Like we're not here for our stately like neutral based affairs. We're here like two hobos in a back alley shanking each other.
Yeah.
So people will want to go back to MKX, and whatever that next game is going to be more like MKX, I think.
Okay. So what are your general thoughts, just to completely pivot off that? What are your overall thoughts on like the Tekken Season 2 update? Like, have you like looked into it?
Oh yeah, I've
Okay.
been there. I've been doing my time. Um, it's I'll just call for okay, whatever. I don't need to. This isn't my video, so I don't have to like do the thing where like I can't be too harsh. I can
Mhm.
be pretty harsh on this, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest trash fire since that Dragon Ball Fighters update that killed the game.
Okay.
Like straight up. Like this is nonsense. Like when I first started the patch and I saw like, oh, Anna can do she'll do B2 and then the woman slap thing,
Mhm.
every man. And then look how that evolved.
My
And then it
God.
turns out it wasn't just a little gimmick like, oh, the men can slap her back. It turns out like you can steal each other, you can Shang Tsung each other and steal each other's move sets off that.
I,
And like
what's going
everything
on?
else, like the make defense better season, like basically, and like I always look at the Virtual Fighter perspective too. Like stepping is core in Virtual Fighter, right? Like Tekken
Mhm.
side steps were never good, but now like do side steps even exist? Because all these new moves, like and like all these new homing moves, like why pretend to sidestep? You just coin flip,
It's so weird that
you
they
know?
would like specifically say we want to buff like lateral movement, and then they buff sidesteps, which was great. But then they give every character like 3 tracking moves that like plus on block,
Yeah,
insane stuff we've never seen before. It's like what was their direction here? Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I remember that one move from Paul I found really funny. It's like they buffed double step, and of course that had its own problem because they gave Paul the unblockable off Hammer of the Gods,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you could do step, then back cancel the step, and then you get a guaranteed stand 4, right?
Mhm.
So that's messed up. But even besides that, they gave him a new move, and it's like I can't remember if it's like just one or down one or whatever it is. It was like it's quick, it's full circle tracking, it's only -1 on block,
Oh, the
and you
launcher,
can just
right?
kind of throw it out, right? And like,
Yeah.
oh, so like why ever step because you'll get killed, and it crumples on regular hit, not even counter hit, right?
Mhm.
Like, and like, but everyone has a move like that now across the board.
I yeah, it's crazy to me that this was because they had a whole year of feedback, and obviously now you have like with the boycotting, like Namco's in a really really bad state right now. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. My best guess is they must have just like thought casuals would like it. Like maybe like Namco did like some special like kind of case study or something like, oh, the more we press, the more casual. But it doesn't work like that because casuals hate it more than anyone.
I on this, I don't have any particular insight
Yeah.
on like the inner workings of Bandai Namco. All I can say is this was just simply poorly thought out. If only for what the patch actually contained directly contradicted the messaging you were put out. You know?
Yeah.
If only for that. Forget all the other trash fire that it is, right?
Mhm.
That's bad. That's a loss immediately, right?
It's yeah, it's good you said that. It's so weird to just see like a fighting game go so hard against the community. Like this is a community. Fighting games are community based. They've always been, right? Like feedback is
Mhm.
really important. But they just like actively chose the opposite. That every single person, pro players, content creators, casuals, like every single person, this needs to be fixed. We need the buff defense. The opposite. So yeah, I don't know what they're smoking over there.
Exactly. It's the worst patch since the Dragon Ball Fighters patch that killed the game. So
And it's also like you mentioned, it's buggy. Like I'm surprised they let it ship
it's
this way.
but that's the thing too. Like if this has been in the can for so long,
Mhm.
it's just so many bugs. Like little things, big things, but like just so many.
Yeah, I'm surprised they must have people who like check for bugs, right? Like I don't did they miss all this? Because it's not just that. There's
Like
moves hitting from across the screen. Like just there's so much random shit going on. I don't know how this was approved.
like I don't mean this and like I don't know. I guess it's inherently going to be a negative comparison, right? But like if you looked at Street Fighter,
Mm,
there would never be a Street Fighter patch with this level of bugs. But even if the balance is just there'd be like maybe a bug and it'd be fixed in under a week,
mhm.
right? Versus like all these game breakers and like it's gonna be like the end of the month maybe when it gets addressed, let alone all the new stuff we keep figuring. Like, is that Anna stuff gonna get rolled into the Jack and Paul stuff they're gonna fix? Or is that another separate issue that's gotta be patched later, right? Like,
And
I
that's
don't
the
know.
worst part. Like we know nothing. They haven't communicated with us. They gave us the nothing statement. Wow, we're gonna fix the unblockable bug. Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd hope you'd fix that. But like they didn't.
Yeah.
They kind of worded it like there wasn't gonna be a balance patch. Like they just said we're looking for like other behavioral issues. And what is that? For all we know, they could just do a bug patch in a couple days and that's it. And then we don't get anything. So it's it's it's
We're
rough.
we're in the golden age of lack of communication in fighting games right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bad thing. Like, Capcom used to be like Street Fighter V later era was amazing. Now they're radio silent.
Mm.
Like Tekken certainly isn't helped with the issues of like Harada and Murray like getting the fights with Twitter with people. Like, this is one of those things, and people never give him the respect he deserves. Ed Boon, if anyone ever in fighting games had the right, the divine right, to get into Twitter fights with people, it would be Ed Boon because he's suffered more than anyone at the hands of the masses, right? And he keeps it zipped. And maybe take his example, keep it zipped, right? Like put
Yeah.
out an official statement, but just don't get into it directly.
I talked about this a little bit recently, but it's such a bizarre thing that we have like now game developers and like lead project managers, like they're on Twitter like arguing with people. It just feels wrong. Like it just feels like you shouldn't be doing that because it only leads to bad situations. Like this stuff,
Oh
like
man.
the game's reputation got 10 times worse when Dexterio publishes an article saying Tekken developer blocking people who criticize the game. You're not helping. Like you make it so much
Not a good look.
worse. Mm,
Yeah, it's not a good look. Like the only time you should like out in an unofficial sense, right? Is like you do it to dunk on someone that's a sure win.
yeah.
Like, you harvest the likes. That's it. If you're not getting the sure win, you don't engage.
So, where do you see this going? Like, do you think they're actually gonna like? I highly doubt they're gonna revert the changes. I find that pretty much
The
impossible.
train will get where it needs to go. I fully believe that. It's a matter of time and resources. And the damaging thing is your public perception
Mm,
and how much damage to the public perception will you take in the time it takes for the train to get to the station. I fully believe they will address like the ongoing issues. They have to.
yeah,
Like you're killing your game if you don't, right? Look what happened to Dragon Ball. So, like, and Bandai Namco too, right? Two
yeah,
home runs are back to back there, right? Uh, but yeah, like I believe the train will get where it's going. It's just if it might take like almost a month to fix like a Paul unblockable, let alone the everything else, like that's too long,
mhm.
right? And like, God forbid, like we're not too far away from Evo Japan, right? It's like a little less than a month, I think, from now. Say Evo Japan's when it's Sega, it's their turn. It's like, okay, now it's time. Virtua Fighter 6, they go as hard as they possibly can go at Evo Japan, right?
Mhm.
And then they're gonna look like a million because they can control the messaging whatever they want. They can show you what works. If they don't like something, they don't gotta show you. And it's like, oh, here's the 3D fighter that works, by the way. And if Tekken's still in shambles, like Virtua Fighter's gonna get a lot of sales and Tekken's gonna lose a lot of players. Like, you have to write the boat on this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna handle it. I don't think they'll revert it, but yeah, I do think they're gonna address like issues.
You
Maybe.
can't. Reverting it is saying you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, it would be better to leave it as it is and never do anything ever again than revert it. That's a complete loss.
Hmm. So yeah, I think you're right. They'll probably just like over time, like nerf heats, like nerf all that stuff. Maybe buff sidesteps again, get rid of some of the dumb
Mm.
stuff. But yeah, it's permanently damaged Tekken 8's reputation, and Tekken 8 didn't have the best reputation before. So
That's the thing, right? Like, Tekken 7 flew so high for so long because it was picking up the scraps, right? Like,
yeah.
because Street Fighter 5 dropped the ball as hard as the franchise ever dropped it since the original Street Fighter 3 launch.
Mhm.
And then Tekken 7 was here. It's like, hey, we're a pretty good version of Tekken, better than Tekken 6, in my opinion, anyways. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there even any Tekken 6 diehards? I don't think there is.
There's a
There's like
couple
definitely
out
like,
there.
Tekken 5 DR diehards,
Even
but I
Tag
don't
2
see
has
Tekken.
more diehards than 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, all right? So yeah, like we're kind of flying high in an era where like everyone else fell apart.
Mhm.
And now you're the one falling apart. Street Fighter 6 is doing good. You finally have direct competition in the way you haven't had since like the PlayStation 2 era,
Yeah.
realistically. Like, and it's Sega's ball to drop. We'll see how that goes. And like, this is not the time for like, you can't have weakness when your direct competitors finally coming back after almost 20 years. This can't be the time you slip, right? Like, if you're just looking at it like cold marketing logic, this is the worst time to F up.
Sure. It's going to be really interesting to see to see what happens in the next few months. But the Tekken community is like it's never been worse. Like everyone, they're so angry. It's like all the death threats to developers, and everyone's just like lost
It's
their
bad.
mind. It's yeah.
Like, I'll
This
tell
was
you
not
how
on my
bad it
bingo card
is.
for this year.
I'll tell you how bad it is. I look at like the average Tekken post now, and I just see NetherRealm Studio in the mirror. And if you hit NetherRealm Studio level discussion, you are effing up really bad.
Interesting turn of events. I agree. I think. Do you think if let's say they did though, let's say the scenario they didn't, they said we're gonna keep it like this, they just kept going in that direction. Do you think Tekken would actually like die?
No, like some franchises are too big. Like the worst that could ever happen to Tekken is its Soul Calibers itself. Like it goes on ice, like Soul Calibur is right now. But spoiler, like I don't know when,
Mhm.
but there will be another Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Some franchises are just simply worth too much money to forever throw in the gun. Like there'll be another Dead or Alive too,
Mhm.
right? I don't know when that's gonna be, but eventually they're gonna look at the numbers and like, you know what? It's time, right? Like we'll do a nostalgia tour, like, hey, remember when, right? So like I don't think Tekken's ever gonna die, but Tekken, like in the Tekken 7 Prime, like sales wise, Tekken 7 was number 2 behind Mortal Kombat 11, right? And like the fact that it was sort of near, like, that's huge. Because Mortal Kombat's always got the casual thing no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're putting up numbers that can, like, start scraping it, that was gigantic, and I don't think Tekken 8's ever gonna get Tekken 7 numbers, at this rate.
I feel
Like,
like
it
that was
sold a
like a
couple million, and
once.
it might sell a couple million more, sure, but, like, over the course of a few years, but, like, it's, the franchise is in, and I don't mean this in, like, a dead way, but it's certainly on a decline.
It's like we had the peak. I feel like yeah, Tekken 7 was like a kind of like a fluke. Like there are so many things that like shouldn't have happened for Tekken 7, but it all ended up working out. Like off of Tag
Mhm.
2, which almost killed the series, right? They
Act 2 was
they brought casual interest back, obviously through the Akuma stuff. Like that was a lot of things had to come together for Tekken 7 to be as successful as it was. And yeah, I agree. It's probably unlikely that success will be replicated. Not to say like Tekken 8 won't be very successful because like
oh, no,
it,
yeah, like,
yeah,
success is a scaling slide, right? Like,
mm,
just because 'cause you're not Tekken 7 numbers doesn't mean you're doing bad. Like,
sure.
Tekken 7 numbers is the peak of the franchise. Like, Street Fighter, like, we always bandy, like, physical sales and all that. Like, realistically, Street Fighter 2, you'll never hit Street Fighter 2 ever again because, like, I'm old, right? I remember the golden age of arcades. Street Fighter 2 was the most important game on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Full stop, right? And Street Fighter 6 will never be the most important game on Earth. That's okay, like, it's doing good. It's doing better than Street Fighter 5. That's all you really need to do.
Mm. Yeah, it's so do you think actually this is a good point and kind of goes back to what we're talking about because you have knowledge of all the games. Do you think it kind of felt like during last generation like tech because of how successful Tekken 7 was, Tekken and Street Fighter were kind of like side by side, but like even
Mm.
when Tekken 8 first came out and like especially like now, but even before the update, it seemed like Street Fighter 6 has always been like a lot more popular in terms of like concurrent players, in terms of like a general audience. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think Street Fighter like does so much better consistently? I guess.
Street Fighter, for me, my perspective is definitely shaped by the fact, like, I grew up during that golden age of
Mhm.
arcades, right? Street Fighter's always just had greater cultural cachet worldwide.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanna look at just, like, cold logic, like, the World Warriors, Ryu, Ken, Chun, Gief, Guile, like, all that, right? Like, you can go to almost anywhere on the earth, and even if they don't play the game, they'll know, like, "Oh, I know Karate Man,"
Mhm.
right? I remember once describing, Street Fighter to one of my older uncles, right? And he's, like, in his 60s. And it's like, "Hey, remember the games I played when I was younger?" And he's like, "No, not really." And it's like, "Do you remember?" The guy goes, "Oh, oh, 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 oh." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, 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 I remember that. I remember that." Like, just even doing that or making the noise, the Honda slap, that was enough, right? Like, spark something. And, like, Kazuya will never have that cultural cachet, right?
Mhm.
Jin will just never have that worldwide appeal the same way Ryu or Ken can. So, like, Street Fighter, even if like, Street Fighter, once again, too, Tekken 7 absolutely outsold Street Fighter 5 and by a good amount.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's something that Tekken can replicate game over game. Like, especially now that Street Fighter 6 has, especially in Japan, risen like a phoenix again in terms of like cultural relevance.
Mhm.
Like, when it's all said and done, Street Fighter 6 is definitely going to outsell Tekken 8 by a good amount. I'm very sure on that.
Do you think another part of it is just like the casual appeal? Because I feel like I know way more people who play Street Fighter casually than Tekken casually.
I think there's definitely that. Like, bare minimum, and like, this is my own personal perspective. I can only live through my own eyes, right? But
Mhm.
sight unseen, I find the average player would just like be more able to pick up and mash with Street Fighter than Tekken.
Sure.
And I feel that's more a 2D versus 3D thing as a whole. I feel like the most appealing 3D fighter to a casual is Soul Calibur. Like,
Maybe.
all things equal, like, if you can pick a 3D fighter, people will gravitate towards Soul Calibur. They like the big weapons, they like the ease of usement, they like the flash, right? They love their Nightmare. They love Nightmare, right? So,
Mhm.
um, versus Tekken always felt, oh god, I'm gonna crash crap for this. Like, Tekken always felt so much more stiff compared to the other 3D fighters. I know, oh, movement's so beautiful in Tekken, but like, not compared to Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Like, Soul Calibur, just hold up or down, eight-way run, like, is the most easiest thing in the world, right? Like, it's beautiful, high level when you understand how the game works,
Mhm.
but it's not as intuitive as Soul Calibur, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think just in general though, like yeah, Tekken is a lot more I feel like Street Fighter is like pretty simple to understand, and like Tekken compared to that is so much more complicated. Like people always say like Street Fighter or Tekken is like complexity for the sake of complexity. Like you can get to like the highest rank and like still like not be playing mind games because it's just matchup checks because each character has 100
That's
moves,
the thing
right?
when you have so many more moves, right? Like if you have a character with 100 moves
Mhm.
and there's like a forward one, a forward two, a down forward one, down forward two, a down forward one plus two, a forward, and they all sort of look the same ish. But this one's -15, but that one's -14.
Yeah.
And like, do you remember in the heat of the moment which one's which if you don't do the matchup all the time, right? Like,
And
I,
yeah.
it, and like it's the nature of the like it has to kind of be that way, right? Like, but it's just a lot more no versus I shot at the fireball, and if you jump, I go Horyuken.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think it's a lot simple to understand, which casuals definitely like. I
Like,
think
I look at it this way, especially in the context of Tekken, right? Um, at the absolute base level of any fighting game, I find when you're just smashing what they're all kind of equal. And at the highest level, every fighting game has its own BS that's
yeah.
all hard. But the intermediate level, intermediate Tekken is a lot harder than intermediate Street Fighter.
Mhm.
That's the gap. That's the mountain to climb.
Yeah, but to get to that, so it's more people like Street Fighter because you can just rank up pretty easily. You don't have to like dedicate all this time learning matchups. You also, I feel like in general, Street Fighter 6, like it looks more appealing. Like it's a lot more colorful. I think it's a lot more vibrant.
Like,
The
that's the big thing
animations.
about fighting games, like, I'm of the very firm opinion fighting games should be bursting with color all the
Mm,
time. It's one of the easiest sell points for the new Fatal Fury game, right?
yeah.
That game, like, is it pushing as many polygons as Street Fighter or Tekken? No, of course not, right? Like, add any 5 Fatal Fury characters together, that's 1 Street Fighter character in terms of, like, polygon density, right?
Sure.
But the art style, the color, the vibrancy, like, that's all off the charts. It's a very easy game to look at, right? And, like, I very much believe fighting games should be like that. As like, it should look pretty. You should
Yeah.
have dudes kicking and punching each other in the face, and it should look pretty.
You see it and you immediately like you understand what's going on. It's a very visually clear, not like
Like,
cluttered.
okay, wait, here we go. What's the best Tekken stage?
What is the best Tekken stage?
You
Not
know
the
you know the answer.
what the final destination one? What's it called? That's my favorite. The final boss fights.
Look behind you. What
Yeah.
is Jin telling you on the Tekken 5 box?
What? Oh, like the fire
He's
effects?
telling you it's Moonlit Wilderness.
Oh, okay.
And why is Moonlit Wilderness everyone's favorite Tekken stage? Because it's pretty!
And then the Infinite
Done!
Azure, right, in Tekken 7 as well?
Well, Infinite Azure in Tekken 7 as well, right? But and why? Because it's pretty! And the
Yeah.
music's good too. But yeah, people like pretty stages, like, MK11. People are gonna pick, like, a nice stage over Goro's fucking lair because that shit's dank and dark, right? Like,
Mhm.
people like pretty colors, so, like, fighting games should do more of that.
Yeah, it kind of felt like we had a bit there where a lot of games were like getting darker. This is just in general, games seem to be getting as graphics got better, a lot of games got a lot darker and they used less color palette. But it looks like it's
Well,
coming back with
the
Street Fighter
old,
6.
argument is games got a lot more brown.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Street Fighter 6. So how do you I guess cuz I play Street Fighter 6, I'm like a casual, I'm a ranked warrior. I don't go to tournaments or anything. What's going on with Street Fighter right now? Like what are people mad about? Because I've heard a lot of people are frustrated with that game too right now. What are the major
Well, find me a fighting game people aren't frustrated with, right? Like,
Yeah.
but right now, the meta's evolving. Like, there's throw loops. We're always gonna bitch about throw loops.
Mhm.
Like, that's always the thing because throw loops in the end devolves into a coin flip.
Sure.
You know, if I'm throw looping you or Daigo is throw looping you, you're still just flipping a coin, right? It doesn't really matter that much. Like, and so it's more a guessing game than raw skill, and that's always the issue. And maybe they'll finally, because Street Fighter Five, they had throw loops at launch, right? And they made sure to patch that out of the game.
Yeah.
And now here comes Street Fighter Six, and it's a core part of the experience, right? So I don't know. We'll see. The most recent complaints is certainly Mai. And Mai was just like Terry. Mai came out and I was like, oh, she's all right, I guess. And now that's evolved into Mai's the least fun character to fight in the whole game. And like nothing about Mai changed. It's not like she got a patch, right? But now it's just people know how to play better. The week one hot takes are out the door. And Mai, just like Street Fighter, Mai can throw a fireball.
Mhm.
It's funny too, because because I also have like I love all fighting games. I'm very heavy in the SNK side of things, right? And I remember making a video of like what my might or might not have in Street Fighter 6. And one of the things I thought was the King of Fighters 15 bouncing fan and 14 bouncing fans.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, this is too strong for Street Fighter. And then sure enough,
they did it.
that's her whole game plan now, right?
Mm.
And people are just not having a good time against the bouncing fans because the idea is really simple. You throw the fan, it doesn't matter if it's hit or blocked. If it hit or blocked, it bounces. Guess again, right? And she's
Hmm.
gonna come screaming in with a drive rush or something, and pressure, 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 pressure. Hope you guess right. You know, it's basically like, hey, it's basically your heat engager if you want Tekken 8 terms. If
Yeah.
you blocked EX fan, it's heat engager time, because you just gotta guess right. And within the context of Street Fighter 6, it doesn't matter what you do. If you perfect parry, perfect parry has a very strict timing window.
Mm.
It doesn't matter because the fan gets perfect parry and it still bounces on your
Bounces.
head.
Yeah.
So you're still in the bad situation no matter what you actually do. And
Yeah.
that's definitely getting people more frustrated over time. So that's the most recent complaint. Besides that, Akuma's killing the game, Ken's killing the game, Rashid's killing, like, the usual, right? Like,
Yeah. When was the last time you guys got a patch, like a big balance patch?
it's been a good while. We don't know, I guess, but it is incredibly highly likely the third season of the game begins with the Elena launch.
Right.
And now we know that is June 5th with the Switch 2 launch.
Hmm.
And that will be a mega patch. But there hasn't been like a big patch, like there's been a couple small adjustments here or there, but it hasn't been a big patch in quite some time.
Do you think they're
Street Fighter
gonna
definitely
like
airs more on the side of like big patches, but only two,
seldomly?
3 times a year.
Do you think they're gonna like change like major system changes in season 3? Like, do you think they're gonna completely rework all that stuff?
Historically, that's historically it seems to be in the cards.
Hmm.
As like things like was it V Trigger 2, V Skill 2, I can't remember. But one of those two was added in season 3 of Street Fighter 5, right? Comparatively, season 3, or even actually season 2 if you want, for Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, added Ultra 2. Like, usually in the context of Street Fighter, you go 2-3 years or 2-3 seasons, and then it's time for the shakeup, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I actually don't know. So there's no insider baseball here, right? But I heavily anticipate that there will be major system change, like new mechanics, maybe new moves. I don't know, but something new besides just here's the balance changes.
Right. And what are you hoping to see in season 3? Like, what are your overall hopes?
For me, season 3, obviously, like balance things.
Yeah.
I either want a full removal of throw loops as a concept,
Right.
or you give Honda and Chun Li a throw loop, because everyone in the game can do a throw loop in some way except for those two. So either everybody has it or nobody has it.
Okay.
And granted, there's tiers within it, right? Like Akuma and Mai are so much better than like Marissa's throw loop. Like
I play Terry. Everyone
there's
just
range.
dashes back. You just dash back. Like, you can't on a lot of characters, right? You can dash back in the corner to avoid it, I guess. Or is that brings a whole other
Characters can. Chun Li can't because her backdash is several frames slower than everybody
Oh,
else.
oh, there you go.
But yeah, but the thing that's always the problem with throw loops, right?
Mhm.
Is if you take the throw, you take, you lose 10, 12%, right? Sure.
Yeah.
If you get caught in the
You
backdash,
die.
you're losing 30 to 60%, right?
God.
So the risk reward is very
Playing against
raw.
Akuma when he has you against the wall. It's like, do I take
Yeah.
4 throws or do I die in one combo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like
Jesus.
Capcom Cup, the team finals, right? Like that happened to Punk. He just got looped to death
Right.
in the corner. That was the last thing of the tournament, right? So, but yeah, so either everyone has throw loops or nobody does. That's kind of where I'm looking at it, right?
Mhm.
Besides that, I do want to see something mechanically different. There's a couple small things like I want drive rush. Like if you're in a drive rush state, I definitely want that to be always punish counter okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Because now there's a more recent evolving of tap parry OS. You tap parry. Did you get a perfect parry or parry? Great. And if not, you drive rush. So at the bare minimum, if someone throws you, you're not in a punish counter state anymore. So you just take less damage.
Right.
So I want it to always be punish counter okay. That and people who just scream and no neutral, just raw drive rush. That means if you call a button, that means it'll always be punish counter. You have the better frames, you get better combos. So like it'll help curtail that a little bit as well.
Mhm.
And there's a million little balance changes. Like I think the overall balance of the game is comparatively to other modern fighting games, probably the best.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's the characters at the bottom that are just awful, right? Like Lily, like I always fight with this. Lily is like not even a character.
Mhm.
Like people always hate fighting Lily. That's the thing too. She's like debatably, it's either her or Manon. Like they're either one of those two is the worst character in the game, straight up.
Huh.
And people hate fighting Lily, and it's not because she's strong. It's
It's
because there's only
annoying.
two things she does:
Yeah.
crouch heavy punch or EX Spire. Why? Because it's the only two moves that work. She doesn't have moves besides those two moves. But they might as well not have a move list besides that. The
Huh.
only way she can interact with you is those two moves because it's the only way she can play the game.
Yeah,
So
and
that's why people have no fun fighting her, right?
it's probably not fun to play her
So
either,
I want
though.
her to be. She doesn't gotta be top tier, right? But let her play the game.
Mhm.
Like once again, the overall like 80% of the cast is tournament viable. That's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
Obviously, some are better than others. Like, is Rashid better than Kimberly? Sure, whatever. But Kimberly has a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Most of the cast has a fighting chance. It's just that bottom few that are a waste of your time.
Do you think
And I just want to see that
Marissa's in
addressed.
the bottom as well of needing
Sorry?
buffs? Marissa, do you think she's like one of
Oh,
those characters?
most people argue Marissa is the worst character in the game.
Yeah.
I would say Marissa is like the Tekken equivalent. Like Marissa always has the random electric to win. You know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter if she's bad. Like she is bad. Like don't confuse it, right? But she's always just one random stand heavy kick
Just
away
kills you.
from or not crush counter. That's old game, but punish counter into like 80%, right?
Yeah.
So she's bad, but at least she has the dice roll factor. You know.
But even then, that kind of goes along with what you were saying about Lily. Like you said, Lily only does two things. Kind of seems like Marissa, yeah, you just wait and then you get a combo and you do all your damage and that's it. Like that's the whole character, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and some people are closer to get like Honda is closest of the bad characters getting there.
Mhm.
But the problem is his balance changes are uninspired because like the one of the moves they buffed is stand medium punch, right?
Right, yeah.
And if this move was not on Honda, like legitimately, if it was on like even a mid tier character, people would be very angry that this is overwhelmingly the single best button in the game.
Sure.
People don't talk about it because it's on Honda.
Mhm.
Context Street Fighter, 10 frames, gigantic range, combos into his target combo into full combo, counter hits into crouch medium punch, punish counter, or punish counters into itself, drive rush into itself, and it's plus on block. So here's this god button, and even if you do the crime of blocking it, it's still his turn.
But the rest of the character is just
The rest of the but he has the button,
he has the
right?
god button.
Yeah, but once again, now if you play Honda, like this is 90% of your offense is one button.
Yeah.
So
It's
like
kind of
Street
weird.
Fighter's there. Like characters like JP, characters like Akuma, they're so varied, they can do so much. Like they're legitimate joys to play. Like they can just
Yeah.
do so many things. But then just look at the bottom in comparison. This overall, this is a good problem to have, right? It's certainly much better shape than most other fighting games get
Mhm.
to have. But I like the low tier garbage characters, so I feel like disproportionately affects me.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of lame. Like, obviously, every game's gonna have low tiers, but I feel like in terms of character identity, it's just boring. Like you said, the Lily thing. No one likes fighting her,
Yeah.
but she's trash. It's just she just has two things, and that's it. It's the whole
Like
character.
I'm a T-Hawk super fan, right? So just
Mhm.
in comparison, T-Hawk is also not a good character. But to a player, like, okay, am I allowed to swear a little bit
Yeah,
here?
yeah, go for it as
Okay.
much as you
So
want.
if you play like an asshole, I play like an asshole, right?
Mhm.
I rarely play scientifically. If you play like an asshole, T-Hawk is one of the most fun characters in fighting game history,
Sure.
right? So I don't care that he was low tier. I had a smile on my face every match, unless it was Guile. There's problems there. But besides Guile, I always had a smile on my face, right? And Lily just can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem to me. Because she is the Hawk family. Her name is Lily Hawk, right? Like, so
Huh. You want to get T Hawk back? You think he'll ever come back?
if Lily's in the game, unfortunately, Teal'c has no chance to come back. I'm very understanding. Like, people always complain, like, hey, Tekken, right? Like, where's Lei? Where's Lei? Where's Lei? Where's Lei? How many actual Lei fans are there?
Like 3.
Like, let's get real, right?
And
Like,
then, yeah, they begged for the character, and then they added him in Tekken 7, and no one played him. Like lowest play rate in the game.
yeah, funny how that works, right? Like, more people will say play, but regardless, right? But like I understand T Hawk is not a draw. He's not a selling point, right?
Mm.
Like, Lily's basically rebranding into a cute girl and like, let's try again, see if this one works. And turns out it's not working so well either. But yeah, Old Man Hawk, maybe Street Fighter 7, I don't know, but definitely not Street Fighter 6.
I think just on Street Fighter in general, I think Street Fighter is actually like probably our current best chance at like fighting games moving in like a more mainstream direction now. Like obviously in the past year, it feels like we've like exploded. We had like what the Sajam Slam getting like all these mainstream streamers to play fighting games now. Everything's a lot more well known. What was it like $1 million? Is it $1 million right for Capcom Cup, like the first place
Yep.
thing? Do you see like fighting games continuing to move in that direction and like eventually maybe even becoming like mainstream?
I think Street Fighter 6 is the best hope we've had in a long time. Like it's
Mm,
already mainstream in Japan, right? And
yeah.
it's already hit that in Japan. It's just a matter of doing it everywhere else. And now we got this culture of like, larger Twitch streamers, IRL streamers, all that, like whatever. They're trying the game to get more eyeballs in the game. Street Fighter 6 is the most public facing Street Fighter
Yeah.
since like Street Fighter 2. Like, so I don't know, like, we'll never get those days again. Like, like the culture doesn't exist the same way
Mhm.
for it to be as dominant as it was back in the day. But as far as just like overall mainstream acceptance, Street Fighter is definitely doing it very right. And they just need to keep it going that way. Like every new big time streamer that picks up a game, like that's one more as little Jimmy or little Billy at home, like, oh, I love the streamer, I'll get the game, and eventually one of them becomes the next Sonic Fox.
Sure. Hmm.
And like now, like on the flip, like Fatal Fury, like there's definitely money in the Fatal Fury thing. Like just the thing the other day, I Show Speed and KSI or
Right.
whatever. Like they're average, like it's a boxing match, I suppose. But they're using Geese Howard and stuff. Like they're like, oh my god, is that Geese Howard? It's like, so like there's money going into this stuff, right? And like either it'll happen organically, like Street Fighter, or maybe it'll be brute force like Fatal Fury, but like it feels like we're getting there one way or the other.
Do you on Fatal Fury, do you see that game like being huge? Because I love SNK, but I always feel like those games are delegated just being niche. Like I feel like they're gonna stay niche. They're trying, right? Big money, fucking Ronaldo,
It'll be
all this
SNK's
stuff.
biggest release in a very long time.
Okay.
I'm talking like think back to like it'll probably be their biggest release since like King of Fighters 2002.
Huh.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
And I mean SNK, I feel like
Now,
they've been
is it
playing the
gonna
long
be
game too.
I'm sorry.
I feel like they've been playing
Go
the
ahead.
the long game too with like getting SNK more known. Like they put Terry in Smash, Terry in Street Fighter, Geese in Tekken 7. I feel like
Yes.
that was their game, like get people more familiar with the characters and then push like a new game super super hard to casuals. Sorry, go ahead.
That's exactly kind of what's happening. Like
Mhm.
Um, there is definitely a push, like, because they got money now. SNK is the richest it's ever been right now, right? And like, I know there's a whole Saudi ownership or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there's controversy around that, absolutely. But like, the cold hard facts is like, Fatal Fury probably wouldn't exist without that money. So like, take the good with the bad, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But they're definitely like, I don't know if you saw the recent announcement they put out, right? They are committing a character every 2 months for 3 years.
Damn.
Street Fighter, a character every for like. And they got the cheap shot. And shout outs to Crispy Kaiser. Got a cheap shot in. It's like, we're doing this thing, we're just showing all the characters up front. So there's no mystery. And like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely doing that. They're definitely going for like the fact that they're guaranteeing at minimum 3 years of support. And like they might do more too, right?
Mhm.
And they're doing it out of the gate and saying this many characters. They're doing all this advertising. Um, they're like, it's not gonna be Street Fighter 6, right? But I think people like because we're always in a little bubble with the fighting game community.
Mhm.
People don't appreciate the fact that like in the fighting game community, SNK is a big name, sure, right? In reality, SNK is one step above an indie company.
Right.
Like that's the reality of it, right? They're not Capcom, they're not Bandai Namco.
Mhm.
And like maybe if things take off for them, they'll get there eventually. But like this is their big coming out party,
Yeah.
and like they've already said, like I'm not giving anything away, right? They've already said they're doing this for everything. There will be a new Samurai Showdown. There will be a new Art of Fighting. There will be King of Fighters 16,
Mhm.
right? And with all this new money, all this new talent coming in for them, like they're trying to like make their name for themselves again.
Huh. So, okay. So with Fatal Fury, they're doing like they're spending tons of money. They want to get casual appeal, marketing, all that stuff. Everything's going good there. The question is, do you think the game holds up? Like, do you think the game is good enough to get to the level they want to get to?
As long as they don't Tekken 8 season 2 of the game, but with a patch or something, right? Like, I think Fatal Fury as it stands, and of course, when it launches, we'll find something broken to bitch about, right? Because that's how that works, right?
Mhm.
But as it stands on its face, it is the fighting game for fighting game players.
Okay.
Because like we talk so much about, oh, is this dumbed down for babies? Like all that, right? No, City of the Wolves is the most mechanically dense game to launch in a goddamn minute.
Yeah.
Like it's everything Mark of the Wolves was, and then so much more on top of that.
Hmm.
Like there there is no auto win mechanics, there's no comeback mechanics. Like it is like very realistic. There's no well, I say there's no drop, but like you can run, right?
Yeah.
So but but even then there's runs, there's hops, there's super jumps, there's it's not it's closer to KOF in that way. Like
Mhm.
it's super mechanically dense. There's lots of valid ways to play. Like this is a game with just defense and zoning's very valid. Like I don't know if you've played against a good kind. Kind's effed up.
I've seen
And like
clips. Yeah.
technically a just defense, every just defense you regain life. So technically a fireball should be useless on paper.
If you're good enough.
And
Yeah.
no, you're getting zoned out by this guy.
Um,
um it just seems to have like will it have the broad mainstream appeal? They're certainly going to try to spend their way into it.
mhm.
I don't think it'll ever get there like in a realistic sense. Although it'll get its foot in the door. It'll get in the
Sure.
conversation, right? But it definitely looks like it's the fighting game for fighting game players.
Huh. And do you think it's the gameplay holds up like casually as well? Like, do you think it'll hold up? Because that was my issue. Like, I played it and I'm like, this game seems very complicated. It feels like it throws a lot out at you very quickly,
It does.
and I feel like that could harm it for casual play.
Like at absolute bottom base level play, like people are just mashing, don't need to learn, right?
Yeah.
The way I look at it, because I do a lot of fighting game education, right? The
Mhm.
gap is not the beginner; it's the intermediate.
Yeah.
Both to get to intermediate and the drive to become intermediate, right?
Mhm.
That's the hump. That's where you create your long term players, right? And it's gonna be harder in that game than Street Fighter 6, straight up.
Mhm.
One of the criticisms I do have about the game is they have smart style, which is effectively the analog for modern controls, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is modern controls is very well thought out. It's not for everybody, right? But it is for a good chunk of the audience. Like about a quarter of all players in Street Fighter 6 play on modern. That's a big number.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. And on high level people, like I don't know if you've been following the exploits of one Chris G recently. I think Chris G just topped the worldwide leaderboards with Mai on modern.
Jesus.
And he got
Okay.
something like ridiculous. Like he's in legend rank with like a 40 win streak. That's not easy.
Yeah.
But smart style in comparison to modern is just not well thought out. It is basically, easy control for babies.
But it's not
And like
like
there
viable.
yeah, there's a value to that to get someone's foot in the door, 100%, right? But it's not a viable alternative like modern is.
Huh.
Like if you want to eventually get serious about the game, you will have to switch over to classic controls, unlike Street Fighter 6 and modern.
I feel like people don't talk, at least maybe they do in the Street Fighter community, but about like how good modern controls actually are. Like as much as people like complain about one button supers and all that, yeah, you're right. Like the more I think about it, they did a crazy good job. Like casuals, it's
Did a
not
fantastic
just
job,
it's not just like, oh, these are like the training wheels, but eventually you got to take them off. Casuals can see this, be like, oh, and you can get to Evo, like you can get to where as far as you want to go on these controls. Yeah, that's crazy that they managed to pull that off.
Yeah, like it's an absolute success because once again, you're right. It's not just XYZ for babies. It's a
Mm,
viable mode in and of itself, and it gives very distinct. Like that's why you have to nerf it some ways, right? Like you do less damage in modern
yeah.
because as much some people talk about like walk up 720 with Zangief, right?
Mm,
Like I can do that maybe 1/3 of the time. Like I have an under 50% success rate on that, right? Like I might post on Twitter like when I can do it, but like like realistically, like me, I've been doing the grappling thing a long time. Like I can't do it. I can do it less than half the time. But I can always walk forward and hit R1.
yeah.
Like so that's why the damage has to be nerfed on that because it's 100% viable. And obviously the things like one button DPs, that's a
Mm,
big deal. Because part of the reason why a DP is a DP is because it needs the motion to slow you down.
yeah.
So maybe you don't get it 100% of the time. But if I just press a button, I will get it 100% of the time, and thus it's impossible to jump. Like, there's absolute value in modern for sure.
Do most people like in the Street Fighter community like dislike modern? Like if you ask like the average like pro player who doesn't use it, if you said would you remove it, would they want to remove it or do they not like it or
I don't think most people would want to remove it. Like for me, like this is the way I've played all my life. I could never play modern, right?
yeah.
Like unless it just was overwhelmingly better, and they went out of the way to make sure it's not just better.
Mhm.
So I feel like most people, like if you started even at Street Fighter Five, let alone any time before Street Fighter Five, you have the control scheme. This is the control scheme you like.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's got to be, right? But it is something like come. This is gonna be down the road, right? But come Street Fighter Seven, I 100% believe modern will return.
Yeah.
1000. It might be a little different. They might retweak it, like depending on metrics or whatever, right? But it's gonna be a core part of the franchise moving forward.
Well, I think that, yeah, I think it's good overall for like accessibility purposes as well. It's just it's a net positive as much as it annoys
Yeah,
some
and that's a big
people.
deal too, because like not everyone is gifted with the same motor skills, same
Yeah.
not everything always works. Like like hopefully I don't knock all this shit over, right? Like oh, please don't knock over. Like I play on leverless now, right?
Mhm.
I don't. I didn't seek to want to play on lever. I didn't do this for like power or whatever. Like I did this because I have bad problems with my left forearm.
Mhm.
And specifically a DNF dual troubleshooter. Thank you so much, troubleshooter. Put me in the hospital one day,
Jesus.
and like basically like my whole arm was like someone like put a knife and just ripped down. And like okay, I've always had problems with the left arm, sure, whatever. So like I'm predisposed, I guess you could say. And leverless, I have no pain, so that's why I play on leverless now. But like if somehow modern was an option or whatever, and it just made me move around less and all that, maybe I would do it. Like not, like how would I phrase this? It's good that there's multiple viable ways to play, is what I'm putting, right? Because not one shoe fits everybody.
Yeah. I think it's, and we're getting, in terms of accessibility, we're getting more into that with other games too, obviously. I'm sure you've played 2XKO. That's kind of funny. People were
Yeah.
talking about how that game is like the most accessible in terms of no button inputs, but then it has so many fucking systems and so many complicated things. Like it's like the easiest and also one of the most complicated, right?
I can tell you a story here. Like, um, that's by design.
Mhm.
Like, when we had the trip to the Riot headquarters, like about like 2 years ago now, right? We're just talking, and they're like, I asked him, was like, hey, like, yeah, and I asked him exactly that. I was like, easy input, sure, whatever. It was like, this game's actually kind of jacked up, And like, yeah, we know. Is that the idea? Is they want to create a mechanically dense enough game that it will stand the test of time, like a Marvel 3 does. And the whole reason Marvel 3 has kept the legacy that it did is because there's always something new and something crazy, and like people can respect the skill that goes into something,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what they're aiming for.
Do you think, I guess on the topic of like fighting games becoming mainstream, do you think that would be the one to do it? Because it is Riot, right? They're gigantic. They have legacy characters. How do you think that's going to
Out of
go?
the gate, no. Out of the gate, no. Out of the gate, it's going to be a fighting game for fighting game players. They have told me as much that like they have a very long tail plan to this.
Okay.
Like this game will be around not only when like Street Fighter 7 is out, but like when Street Fighter 8 is out. And that's what they're going for. They're looking to create an institution.
Right.
So, like first 2 years of the game, I'm sure it'll do well with the FGC, right? And they're gonna market so when like whenever it's League Worlds or whatever, they'll show stuff to, like co-promote and like team fight tactics and all that. But they're looking to create because League of Legends wasn't big out of the gate either. You
Sure.
know, so that's kind of what they're doing. They're looking to put out the game, and over time they'll make it the game it needs to be. And they're not looking for a day one hit. They're looking for like a year 6 hit.
Yeah. So yeah, they're playing. I mean, I guess it has a lot of things going for it, right? Like first of all, it's free. We don't really see
That's kind of a big one, right?
that. Yeah, that changes
Like people
everything.
knock the free to play stuff
Mm,
because multiverse is tried and failed,
yeah,
right? But multiverse is like it tried because it failed because
it's shit.
wasn't that good of a
It
game,
was
right? It wasn't that
bad.
good of a
Yeah.
game. Like it doesn't matter if you're free to play. If it was $60, it still would have kind of sucked. Like I had fun with like I had my fun with Iron Giant, right? I had a good time with that game because Iron Giant was really stupid.
Mhm.
But like
You need
Like
gameplay for a fighting game. If your
it
gameplay
wasn't because
sucks,
it
you're
was free to
dead.
play that it fell on its face,
Yeah.
right? Like look at Brawlhalla. No one ever talks about Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla is like a secret titan.
Mhm.
Like Brawlhalla puts out bigger prize pools than like I guess anyone but Capcom Cup,
Yeah.
and it's free to play, and it gets a huge audience. Why does it have a huge audience? Because it's free to play. If Brawlhalla was $60 in a box, probably not, right? Like so, like maybe there'll be the odd free to play example that bombs like multiverses, but doesn't mean the core concept is bad.
Yeah, it's yeah, it seems interesting because when they did the alpha test, like I kind of initially thought, yeah, it would blow up, but yeah, it just kind of it stayed niche. I think I was chatting with FDX and he said what Riot does is like they go into new fields and then they optimize the gameplay of a certain genre and then they make it like great. But in terms of other people coming in, they don't initially have that. Like Valorant, they took CS:GO, they made that, they perfected the formula, right? They have Legends of Runeterra. It's like the Hearthstone
Yeah.
card game. They just go into genres and but it is cool that the team is so dedicated, like you said, to making like a grassroots fighting
Yeah,
game.
that's not NDA. I'm pretty sure. Like that was just a casual conversation I had with him. But yeah, like they're taking the long eye on this, right?
Mhm.
So like, if it's not a hit in like the first week, they don't care.
Yeah,
Like they're here for they're gonna be here. So that's kind of the way they're looking at it, and that's why I think like it'll get there eventually. Like year one, it's not overtaking no Street Fighter, it's not overtaking no Tekken or whatever, right? But when it's here for year after year after year, and they're gonna add more characters, right? Like eventually they're gonna have to add like everyone from Arcane,
yeah. Oh
and
my
whenever they do
god,
the next Arcane show, and they do like a lot of little co-promotion,
arcane
and like
skins.
they yeah, and and they have like they have Jinx in the game, right? And like oh, but here's Jinx's Arcane skin, and like people they're gonna go like pigs to the trough. They're
All
gonna
the
eat that
Twitter
stuff up,
users.
right?
Oh, Jinx.
Yeah, like they're gonna eat that stuff up. Like they got it. Like they got it. The marketing engine is gonna sell itself, right? So
I heard they announced they're starting the roster with 10 characters, which yeah, it goes even more with them playing the long game. I don't know. I kind of like that though. People are so mad. For me, smaller rosters are always cooler. Like I always like because I used to play Smash Ultimate competitively, and that game is just 90 fucking characters to learn. I hate that. And then Tekken 7, there was like 50. Sometimes I like games that like hone in for smaller rosters. I think that's cool.
the one thing, because use Smash as an example, right? Like, and granted, please don't eat me alive in the comments. I'm not like a Smash pro or nothing. Like, I'm a
Mhm.
okay. Actually, you want to eat me alive in the comments? I'm a fighting game player.
Yeah,
I
not
don't
that
know,
Smash shit.
right?
Yeah.
But no, but like like look at like, and granted, Ultimate specifically, like they've helped differentiate, right?
Sure.
But Fox and Falco, Ike and Roy, right? Like, or rather, Roy and Mark. Like, there's a lot of characters in Smash that are just very similar to each other, right?
Yeah.
And even in the older games, they would have been basically almost outright clones.
Mhm.
Every character in 2XKO is very much a mountain unto themselves. There is no cross pollination.
Yeah.
They're all very unique, right? So I don't mind smaller rosters when the characters are very unique. Like Braum has nothing in common with like Echo, right? Like
Yeah, it's crazy that they work the league characters to be such unique, like standalone fighting game characters. And I agree. I think rather than characters, we need to look at like playstyle variation, like you said, right? There might be 90 characters in Ultimate, but how many playstyles are there? Like what, 8, 9? All the zoners play the same. The sorties all play the same. Like yeah, we want more unique playstyles. So yeah, and if they're gonna keep doing this, like every character is like a hyper unique, super in depth character. I'll take that. I'll take that any day over like
exactly. That's
Tekken
kind of how I
7's
look at it, right?
roster. What the fuck? It's just garbage. Like Tekken fit like
And
so
like
many characters.
and I think there's a value to the clone character too, right?
Yeah.
But that the value, one of the main values of the clone character is to pad out the roster.
Mhm.
Like famously, I'm a big fan of Leon in Dead or Alive, but Leon and Bayman are almost the same character.
Right.
They're like 85% the same character, right? And then you had like DOA4 Nicole, the Spartan. She was just a fusion of like the few things that Leon and Bayman were different. They just put them together in the same character. Then you have Rachel. Rachel's also a fusion of Leon and Bayman, right? So
Mhm.
that's four characters sharing like 80% of the same move set.
Yeah. Okay, so just kind of I don't know, completely different now, but I wanted to ask you this. How did you get into fighting games like in general? You said you've been playing for so long now, right? Starting with Street Fighter
Yeah,
2,
well,
did you
I
say?
could give you the fake origin story. I could pad a couple years. I've been playing fighting games since '89. But here's the story. Like technically that's true. I remember playing Street Fighter 1 in '89. I think it was like December in the bowling alley, right? And that game sucked.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 1's a trash fire of a game, right? So I didn't stick with that game. But then I think it would have been like it was definitely holiday of like '91 or maybe very early '92. And I played Street Fighter 2 for the first time, and I've been there since. Like hooked me, done. I've never not played fighting games since then.
That's crazy that since and did you always, like, play multiple? Like, when did you start, like, doing all the different games?
Well, what back in the golden era, right? Like, I would play whatever the arcades had.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, I remember when Tekken 3 came out. Tekken 3 was only in Montreal. I can only play Tekken 3 when I visited Montreal, right?
Mhm.
So, like, if I live in Ville de Montagne, or like if I go to Saint Marthe or Saint Eustache or Laval or whatever, like no one had Tekken 3, so I can only play Tekken 3 like twice a month. So I definitely wasn't a Tekken 3 main until it came out on like PlayStation 1, right? So in the arcade days, I played whatever was just in front of me. So that's usually a hell of a lot of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and sometimes some old KOF cabs. Like everyone loves KOF 98, right?
Mhm.
It's a big. I played KOF 97 mostly. We didn't have KOF 98. I played a lot of KOF 96. That's what we had. So
Yeah.
like, I remember when the second revision of Darkstalkers came out, Night Warriors or whatever it was called. Like we didn't get it, so we just kept playing vanilla Darkstalkers. So at the mercy, like I live in small towns, right? Don't get like that story of like, oh, SoCal or like New York, the rich arcade. Don't got that.
Yeah.
It's like whatever the arcade owned by the bikers got, because all the arcades were owned by the bikers, and
Just
Quebec
working
had
with what
problems
you
with bikers
got.
back in the '90s. So, yeah.
So you started in the
But
arcades and you
anyway,
just kept going after that?
and then obviously like once we really hit the console era and arcades started dying, that's when okay, now I'm playing Tekken at home. Playing a lot of Soul Edge. When we got the Dreamcast, that was a revolution because Soul Calibur, right? Dreamcast, like that was the reason you bought the system.
Sure.
Was like forget this whole Shenmue most influential game of all time award bullshit. Whatever I saw the other, forget that. Anyone who got a Dreamcast was for Soul Calibur, right?
Mhm.
And God bless, like Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat specifically, they kept the light on during the Dark Ages. Like people don't talk about that because like you'll hear people talk about like, oh, we're playing Third Strike. Like, who the fuck are you playing Third Strike with? You're like one of the 5 arcades left in North America. I wasn't playing no Third Strike.
Yeah.
Like, there's no arcades to play it in, like um, but like Soul Calibur and like even though they're not as good, MK. Well, you know what? MK Deception is good. I like MK Deception, but like those games, the 3D era games, that and Soul Calibur, kind of raising the flag when fighting games weren't at their strongest.
Yeah.
And then they did have the home release. You could play Third Strike on Dreamcast. I played a lot of the PS2 version of Capcom versus SNK 2. But yeah, like other than certain eras of my life when I was in an MMO hole,
Oh,
and
no.
like that's big chunks of my life. Because like my first MMO was Meridian 59, then I played Ultima Online, then I was really big in Asheron's Call, then Anarchy Online, then Dark Age of Camelot. Uh, I won't say okay. I remember at the Riot had because Riot's working on an MMO too, right?
Mhm.
Someone yelled out, "Hey, name I don't use in public anymore. Old name from the MMO days." I'm like, who the fuck said that? You know? Because they knew me from the MMO days. Because yeah.
Oh,
So
damn.
like there's that too, and like and there was holes like StarCraft. I played so much StarCraft and
Yeah.
Battle Realms, Warcraft 3, right? So but yeah, but for the most part, I've been playing fighting games like my whole life.
So when did you like start doing content? Like have you always like, as soon as you were able to, like when did you start actually doing content?
I've always done content on like the side for fun.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. My first proper guide. Let's see here. You can sort by oldest now on YouTube.
Yeah.
My first proper full guide, Injustice Superman Guide for Beginners, 11 years ago.
Damn.
Right.
Okay.
So like for I guess since 11 years ago, actually 12 years ago, because my first video was a Dead or Alive 5 video. But like I've always been like this for fun, right? Like I just want to like help out begin. Like if I know something, I'll teach you this combo, I'll teach you whatever. It wasn't till well, specifically when For Honor came out,
Mhm.
because it was a thing of the company. I used to be emergency police medical fire dispatch,
Okay.
and a company bought our company and fired all of us.
Jeez.
And so I'm like, huh, I need to pay rent and not be homeless. And that's when I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try this YouTube thing for real. Because under the old rules, which are very different than the modern rules, under the old rules, I was eligible for monetization. All I had to do was click a button. Because like I had some videos with a couple thousand views. That was good enough back then,
Right.
right? Now it's very like you need like 10,000 watch hours or something. Like, you need so much more just to even get your foot in the door. Versus I just clicked a button.
Mhm.
So when For Honor came out, I'm like, you know what? This is enough like a fighting game that maybe I can apply my mindset to it and try this out.
Okay.
And right around the same time, I think, is when Tekken 7 and Justice 2 came out. So I'm kind of doing the same thing. And I was doing that like on top of like doing odd jobs for years and I had like all that. And eventually it was Marvel Infinite. That's when like things started taking off. And I finally got a check from YouTube from Marvel Infinite big enough that I could cover my rent.
Okay.
Like it didn't cover nothing else,
But
right? But it covered the rent. And like, okay, this might actually start being a thing.
mhm.
And then kind of go from there. And obviously, Dragon Ball Fighters. I've been around for years before Dragon. That's kind of what put me on the map. And just kind of going from there. Like, and obviously, like I've shifted so much because like I was always like primarily guide focused, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm eventually gonna run out of things to say when it comes to guides. I cover every character, and then what? Like
Yeah.
so. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe let's do some news. Like, if there's news, let's do news. I wasted my whole life on this genre. I know. To me, fighting game story is just as important as the game.
I
Like the
agree.
gameplay, in my brain is equally as important. So like, let's do lore videos. Fatal Fury lore video coming soon, by the way. And anything to like get the content pipeline in reliable enough that it can pay the bills. Like I look at your channel too. Like I see you got some videos with some good clicks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're monetized, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'm sure if you're at home watching, it's not as lucrative as you might think. I'm sure you know that.
Mhm.
That you can get a video with like 40,000 views and it doesn't make $100.
Yeah,
And
there's always so many things. Like, it depends how long the video is, depends, like, if you swear in the video, then it can go down, like, certain topics
yeah,
get
there's
different
so many factors,
rates.
right? Like for me, not even like 100 Canadian sometimes, right? And then sometimes it does and does good, right? It's just
Right.
so like once again, I live in a very small town, rural Ontario, right?
Mm.
And I'm in the bad part of town.
Okay.
The rent's cheap here. Rent cheap. Like people's like, why don't you move to Toronto if you're in Ontario? Because I'm like, I'd have to quit what I
It's
do.
like, I wanna live.
I
Can't
couldn't afford to live in Toronto.
Yeah.
So God bless him, Maximilian, I ain't, but it's enough to pay the rent. That's what matters to me.
Huh. And
But
so
yeah, I'm sorry.
you were always but, like, from the beginning, right, you were always doing all the fighting games, like, you were never just doing one, you were always covering, like, multiple things? Like, from your content?
In the era I started with, like coming off Marvel Infinite unfortunately didn't last very long,
Sure.
even though I think it's a beautiful game, and screw all you guys who hate the game. But like Dragon Ball Fighters was definitely my bread and butter for a good long while. Because like Street Fighter 5 was in the dark times.
Yeah.
Like I still got a lot of Street Fighter 5 videos, don't get me wrong. Like I have a lot. But Dragon Ball was definitely the focus for like at least 3 years
Okay.
about. But then also I realized like if I'm gonna do this, this is my full because it is my full-time job, right?
Mhm.
You do gotta diversify.
Yeah.
So like when Mortal Kombat 11 came out, it's like I love Mortal Kombat. So you know what? Even though I'm gonna start doing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 content, and they were not doing as good as the Dragon Ball videos. Like the time and effort of going to one Mortal Kombat video could go into a Dragon Ball video and get 3 times the return.
Sure.
But I'm like, this won't last forever. And look at Dragon Ball now, right? It's a dead game.
Sure.
Capital D, capital E, capital A, capital D, dead,
Mm.
right? And I love all fighting games anyway, so it's not too much of an issue for me to cover all the fighting games. I'll just as happily talk about Fatal Fury today. We'll talk about Street Fighter tomorrow, 2XKO the next day. Fine, because I'll like all the games. But I do look at it from if you want to be a full-time content creator, if you do it for fun, whatever, do what works for you, right? But if you want to be full-time, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Because look at Tekken 8, right?
Wow.
If you are a full-time if this is here to pay your rent,
Mhm.
full-time content creator for Tekken, right? People's like, "Oh, it's gonna be so fun to be a YouTuber." There's ups and downs.
Yeah.
And if Tekken 8 is responsible for paying your rent, either on YouTube or on Twitch,
Good
you're
luck.
effing downtime right now.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
like even like without naming names, I know some people who stream Street Fighter 6 for a living, right? And they hate fucking games.
But they
They
have to pay
do
their
not have
bills.
any fun. And it's like, well, I don't know how to play anything else. If I don't play this, I can't pay my rent. So like, if you are in the content creation business, streaming, YouTube, whatever, and you're in specifically the very niche genre of fighting games, please diversify. Say I'm not too happy with one game or another at one point in time, right? I can just do something else.
Yeah.
Like the well's pretty deep for me. I'm not married to any one game.
It's so interesting you're saying that because yeah, that's the exact thing like I've been thinking about recently because I've only been this is my second year on YouTube. I'm doing it 1 year. It's been almost all Tekken, and I like Tekken, but this whole thing's made me realize yeah, I gotta do other stuff because if Tekken dies, oh my channel's dead now. Not lose my income. Like it's because yeah, like you said, fighting games are
Here, I'll
already
give you
so
an example.
niche.
Like from the olden era, if you will, of Dragon Ball fighters
Mhm.
specifically, right? There was so many people they made their name on Dragon Ball fighters. And like I think fair to say me too. Like I was here before. Like I had 10,000 subs before Dragon Ball fighters. So like I got my foot in the door, right? But it's what helped me grow.
Sure.
And realistically, now that that game's dead as a doorknob, how many of those creators are still around?
Right.
Like for fighting games specifically, like besides myself, Lotus Asakura, I think he mostly does anime content, like anime fighting game content now.
Mhm.
Jamcrofts, he's still in like traditional fighting games. And Dotodoya, and he's moved on like kind of general anime stuff, right? And anyone else who was a name back in the Dragon Ball days for YouTube,
Gone.
like either they still make videos and get no views, or the channel's dead and they just gave up.
Huh. Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, it's hard at first, right? Because when you're like growing a channel, everyone always says like, "Oh, pick a niche and focus on a niche." And I feel like it's easy to get caught up, like you said in the views thing.
Mhm.
Like if I upload a video on Street Fighter, which I really want to, it's gonna do shit at first. But I guess, like you said, you just have to push through.
That's the thing. When Dragon Ball days, when they're at their peak, and I'm like focusing on Mortal Kombat, I'm like, this will hurt me. It hurts me short term. It'll gain me long term,
Right.
right? It's one of those things like people didn't care. They just didn't. It's like, why are you making a Mortal Kombat video? It's like, you don't even play. And they're like, I always love that. You don't even play XYZ game. I'm like, I have been playing this game since before you were born, buddy. What are you talking about, right? But I got those comments. You don't even play Mortal Kombat, even though it's like I almost got the Mortal Kombat dragon tattooed on my arm so many times. I walked away at the last second, right? But yeah, sometimes you got to take a short term punch on the chin in terms of like the numbers to make sure people know you're here for more than just a game. Like
Yeah.
count like different genre entirely, right? But like so many channels got so big in the early days, like GTA 5 online content.
Mhm.
And I look at those channels and it says 1 million subscribers.
You see their
That's what it
views.
says. But then I look at their videos and they're doing like borderline scam videos for like 4K views. 'Cause they're just doing anything to claw on. Because GTA 5 content isn't it anymore. And you
Sure.
didn't evolve past it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because now like a bunch of like YouTubers are like YouTube's been around for long enough. There's a bunch of like really old YouTubers, and you see all the ones like you said with million subscribers, they get no views. But then you look at their channel and it's like you've been doing the same thing for 15 years. Like, what did you expect? You're still doing Minecraft Minecraft videos, and you haven't changed
Exactly.
anything.
And it's definitely like a more modern gaming convention. The games are more evergreen than they used to be,
Mhm.
like a Minecraft, like Fortnite. It's like you could say I played Minecraft when I was a kid, and it's still Minecraft. It's still there.
Yeah,
You know, I say I played Street Fighter 2 as a kid. Then there was Street Fighter Alpha. Then there was Street Fighter 3. Then there was Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. And then we're on Street. Like
sure.
it's different. It's not just the monolith game, right?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a reason why like all the biggest like you said Maximilian dude he does everything people and he's in the position where like he's the best case scenario because he's in the position where your people are watching for him like not for the even if you don't care about a game he's covering you're going to watch it to hear his take and hear him talking about it that's the fighting game creator's dream, you know.
That's the thing. That's kind of what you need to be, right?
Hmm.
And Sometimes people watch for me. Like I'm very realistic about the position I'm in, right? The main reason I'm in the position I am is because, like, say when it's news, I'd say 95 times out of 100, if there's news, I'm first to the news,
Right.
and usually, I'm the most in depth on the news too, right?
Mhm.
Like especially when it comes to, like, a trailer. Like I'm the trailer breakdown guy, or when there's a fighting game patch, I'm the patch guy. I have my niche, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, just general, like, obviously Max, like, clocks me on that, right? Like, because he's a better personality than I am. Like, that's why Max got to branch away from fighting games. I'm terrified. It was scary enough to, like, go from, like, Dragon Ball to Mortal Kombat. I have made one not fighting game video in 7 years, and I was like, actually, like, my whole day is like, I'm gonna kill my channel. I'm gonna put this out. My channel's dead. It's for Yakuza Pirates.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm gonna put this out, and that's it. Like, oh yeah, he tried to do a fighting game. He's a fucking laughing stock. Now he's done. Like he left his niche, and like it's scary. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I play other games that aren't fighting games. I play lots of other games. But like I wouldn't make a video on them because it's hard. Like the Yakuza Pirates video didn't bomb, thank God, right? And like like not too inside baseball, but like there was a reason I got made, and it's not because of Yakuza Pirates. That's a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Who makes Yakuza? Who makes Yakuza?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah, sure. Who makes Yakuza?
The company? Isn't it Sega?
Yeah, who's the publisher?
Sega, right?
Yeah, who's the guy who flies the flag for Virtua Fighter?
Yeah. Oh wow, it all comes together.
So maybe that's why that happened, right? But but yeah, like it's hard. Like I'm so jealous of Max. Is like, hey, I want to play Monster Hunter today, and he can put out and get like 100,000 views, and I'm like, hey, I want to play one of my old shitty FMV games I like from the '90s. Let's play Sewer Shark. I did that. 10 views,
Yeah.
So like, if you can just, yeah, but yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is to people tune in for you more than anything else. That's the end goal, right?
Mhm.
Like everyone has like their niche that they're good at. Like I love watching Jamcroft trivia videos. He's so good at that, right? Um, or like Lord Knight. Lord Knight does really good like technical breakdown a lot of anime fighters, right? Like they're really good at that. Like I would definitely watch Lord Knight over anyone else when it comes to like something like that. Um, or like old MK lore or weird stuff I don't personally know. I would watch Ketchup and Mustard, right? So everyone has like their things they're really good at.
Mhm.
I'm trailer breakdown guy. I'm patch breakdown guy, right? But if people can just tune in just for you, that's when you win.
That's how you win the YouTube game.
Mm.
Huh. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation, and like I said, a lot of people get if they feel like they're stuck in their niche. It's a situation I want to avoid. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and do more broad stuff because like yeah, I play Street Fighter. I want to make like the new Smash game. There's gonna be a new Smash game. I want to do content on that too. Like it's
See, like that's one of those things I look at. I'm like, well, I'm a fighting game guy, and like on paper, I should. Even if I've tried, I try. God bless me, I try every time.
mhm,
I want to like platform fighters. It's not that I just don't. I'm just curmudgeonly, and I don't want to play them. I try every time, and like every time I get a little bit closer, right?
mhm.
Like I bounced off Brawl, didn't like it. Try Ultimate, got a bit like I got a couple hundred hours in Ultimate. I don't think people would know that, but like I played a lot of Simon and K. Rule.
Mm.
Um, Nick All Stars, gave that a real go. I tried, right? Multiverses. I have like 400 hours of Multiverses.
I'm so
Mostly
sorry.
thanks to Iron Giant, just because he was broken and dumb, and I just had a lot of fun with that, right?
Mhm.
Um, and come the new Smash, like if you want to just do cold brass tacks, financially, it's in my interest to cover
Yeah,
the new Smash Bros. Whenever it comes out. And it's in your interest too, and it's in everybody's interest.
yeah.
Um, am I gonna be like I don't even know who the Smash YouTubers are. Like, is Hungrybox do it?
I guess, but the Ultimate's kind of dead right now, so even they're all struggling. It's mostly just like stream
Yeah,
highlights.
I don't know, but like like the cold brass is within my purview to benefit me heavily from doing
Yeah,
this, right? And but I'm not gonna like pretend like I'm some guru at it. Like if I ever do, like I probably will make a video or two about it. I'm definitely gonna present myself as like I'm the fighting game guy, like from outside the window looking in.
sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And we'll cross because it's gonna happen. Spoiler, it's gonna happen. Like, there's too much money for it to not happen.
It's gonna
But
happen
yeah,
and it's
it's
gonna
one
be
of the things I
huge.
wonder too. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna come at that.
I mean, there's a lot. That's kind of one of the things I'm just so interested at like your channel specifically, at how you do so many games, like how you decide what to cover. There's always new games coming out, right? Does it ever get like overwhelming trying to like just keep up with everything? It must, right?
Uh, Usually the worst is patch time.
Sure.
New games are bad too because like everyone wants to choose a main. That's like my signature series.
Mhm.
Like I am incredibly blessed. I have 2 videos with over 1,000,000 views, and I have 1 video with 999,400 views,
Right.
right? And these are all my top 4 most viewed videos are choose a main, choose a main, choose a main, choose. So people want choose a main, and Fatal Fury is right around the corner, and it'll be choose a main, right? And so I always stress over those so bad. Like, is this good enough? Is this right? Like, I feel like the last few, especially like Street Fighter 6, has been good. And I'll kill myself. Like, I will. That's kind of like one of the things where I succeeded, especially when it comes to, like, why am I always first on the news? Because I'm willing to kill myself over it. I don't suggest you do that.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, at my heaviest, I'm a big guy. I'm not going to hide it, right? At my heaviest, I was 380 pounds. Right now, I'm 280 pounds, and it's not because I hit the gym. It's because I worked myself to death.
Yeah. Huh.
So like when Tekken 8 came out, right? I have a very unfortunate relationship with Bandai Namco. Let's put it that way. They do
Okay.
not like me.
Oh wow.
If my name gets pulled up, the door gets shut in your face. Let's put it that way. So I could not get an early code for Tekken 8. But what I did was, well, people still want to choose a main. So I worked 41 hours consecutively with 1 half-hour break on sleep on the couch.
Jesus.
And then I put it out. That video is 3 hours and 6 minutes long. I'm looking at it right now. I gave the people what they want at the cost of not feeling very good. But that's, to me, how I succeed. Like, is there a 1% chance something's going to get announced on Japan time at an event? Okay, I'm staying up.
Yeah.
I'll pound 40 Red Bulls on the 1% chance there will be news. Because if there is, I'm first. And if you're first, get a boost in the views. It's as simple as that, right?
Damn. Yeah. I
So
mean,
I
I've
got
always
into that way.
felt
But
that.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
but that's just it. Like,
Yeah.
part of the reason I got off the ground is, especially when it comes to news, and like part of the reason I have any following is because I'm a news guy. People can rely on me for news.
Mhm.
Is is it Japan time? Is it Germany time? Is it anywhere in the world time? Doesn't matter. I'm up. And like, it doesn't got to be a for sure thing. It could be a hint. God knows how many. You said I can swear. I'm trying not to swear because I usually try to fight something. But God knows how much of my. Okay, I will swear. Let's get
Go
emotional
for
for
it.
a second.
Yeah. Let's do
God
it.
knows how much of my fucking life I have spent on that 1 fucking% chance there'll be a new Virtual Fighter announcement, right?
Mhm.
So many lost nights on the chance. So many RGG summits on the chance. 1%. They'll say a sliver of Virtual Fighter news, you know? And then we finally got there. We're here. There'll be a new Virtual Fighter. Thank God.
Yeah.
But like, I've been butchering myself over that kind of stuff. And it's not
Jesus.
healthy, and don't do it. Like, I'm a poster boy how you should not do this stuff, right? But it
Yeah.
is, unfortunately, one of the ways I've succeeded.
That sounds so insane. Like I felt that a little bit for like patch notes, but I'm in one game in one small niche. Doing it for everything, I don't. Oh my god. I mean, I guess that shows how you
The
got
thing
here,
is,
though. You worked your ass off, right?
yeah,
Jesus.
well, it's the work ethic, right?
Mhm.
And it helps. Like, I'm older, right? So I didn't start on YouTube. I'm not your 18-year-old YouTuber star. I
Yeah.
was in my 30s when I started on YouTube, right? I worked so many jobs, so many bad jobs. Worked midnight. I worked 10 years of midnights.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
that helped me work without sleep. I think that's actually very key and one of my successes. But for me, when I got on the YouTube game trying to do it for money, my, game was like, if I don't succeed, I'm homeless.
Right.
That was like my motivation coming in, right? Because if I didn't make money, I lost my job. And like, I did YouTube along so many other side jobs for so long. Thank God, like, this is my primary. But I always have the mindset of, if like if there's a day with no video, and okay, there's a day with no video and there's video yesterday. Okay, I'm okay. I'm good. If there's 2 days with no video, I get stressed. Right now, there's 2 days with no video. I'm not feeling good. When this is done, I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna try to get out of it. If there's 3 days for no video, I feel like I'm in actual panic attack mode.
Damn.
So even though I save my money, I won't be homeless. I know in my brain I won't be homeless. I save all my money. I live in the bad part of time. I spend $700 Canadian in rent. Like you're in
Damn.
Toronto, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how insane 700 for rent is, right?
Yeah, Jesus. It's like what,
Yeah.
2,100 for like the worst one bed here.
Yeah, like, and granted, like, I live beside a bar and a Met Den, so, like, there's a reason why I rent 700 here, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I don't have the esports studio exactly.
Sure.
But, like, I never lost that perspective of, like, if I don't do this, everything falls apart. And it's contributed to my success, but not, like, um, not to, like, my benefit of my mental health. Like, I love what I do, don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but, like, I have a drive that's, based off of fear, if you wanna get real.
Well, I mean, it worked out. You get to do what you love despite all the stress. Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
it sounds so extreme. Jesus. But you got to do. But like you said, you don't have to do it like that. There's definitely other
No,
like
no, no,
healthier
I suggest
approaches.
you don't.
Hmm.
I'm, like, the worst possible case of, like, someone who, quote, unquote, "made it," like, don't do it like me, like, make your videos of just like, "Wow, man, I was having so much fun playing the game." Like, do that. That's, like, it's a much healthier way to go about it.
Huh. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I got. Wow, that's an hour and 25 minutes. Holy, I don't know.
Oh, that's a long
The
one,
time
okay.
went really well. Thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome getting the chance to chat with you. This was really fun.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's, nice just, talk about stuff that's fighting game related. It's not like the usual stuff,
Yeah.
and in a context where I'm not on my own channel, so I don't have to be as polite about things like the Tekken 8 patch. 'Cause,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that is part of the brand. Once you get on you like, you gotta build the brand, right?
Mhm.
And I'm, unless you see me on Twitter, I'm known as the nice guy. You see me on Twitter, there's stories like, how is Twitter Rooflemonger so much different than YouTube Rooflemonger? Because, Twitter Rooflemonger's a much meaner guy.
At least
He's,
you have a space for that though. Let it
so,
out.
'cause, I edit all my own videos, right?
Mhm.
So after I spend, like, 4 hours in the lab and I spend, like, hours and hours editing the video, Twitter's where I go to vent.
Jesus.
So, that's how I get my jollies.
All right. Well, do you
So if
want
I was ever
to
mean to you on Twitter, I'm sorry.
there you have it. A formal apology to everyone you've ever shouted at. All right.
'Cause,
Well,
I'm definitely the troll there.
do you want to let people know where they can find you? If you're interested. I'm sure most people
Just
know.
about anywhere. Oh, yeah, just about anywhere I am on the internet, be it Twitter, be it I'm on Blue Sky now, I guess, YouTube, Rooflemonger. Although Blue Sky is Rooflemonger Real, because Rooflemonger, some bot stole it. I do stream on Twitch occasionally. I'm the world's most unreliable Twitch streamer. Although with the 2XKO beta coming up, Fatal Fury launch, that should be consistent-ish for a while, anyways. Until I fall down my hole where I start streaming like weird old FMV games again.
Yeah.
That's my secret joy.
All right. Well,
But
yeah.
yeah, if you type in Rooflemonger, you'll probably find me.
I'll link it all in the description. Thank you again for doing this. This was awesome, man. Thank you.
All right, well, once